Hey friends, congratulations on your match. It's a big deal. All your effort that you put into, be it for preparing for your exams, the finances that you put in this process, the relationship sacrifices that you have made, the time that you have invested has paid off, and that's a very big step forward towards your future. And if you have clicked on this video, that's probably because, like I was 8-9 months back, you are very enthusiastic about starting your intern year and you want to get a head start. So these are the tips that can get you a head start on your intern year. Tip number 1, learn to use your email well. One of the major communication method as an intern would be using your email. You'd receive a lot of emails from be it administration or your attendings or your colleagues, and you would also write a lot of emails. Make a habit of getting to zero inbox, meaning when you get an email, either reply to it right away, delete it if it's not important and if you don't want to reply to it, or add the task that the email wants you to do to your calendar. Try and deal with an email within 24 hours of receiving it. As far as writing an email goes, write exactly what you want to tell them and write in very short sentences. Even if you don't use different salutations every time, at least make sure that you use a bunch of salutations and then keep them handy, because you'd communicate with the same person over and over and over again and you would not want to sound very robotic in your email. There are signature features in all popular email services. Gmail has a very good signature feature. Use that. Subscribe to a few newsletters so that while checking emails you'd be updated about what is going on in the subject that interests you. Your attendings would have read about that and you'd be able to flex some during your round, and that sometimes comes in very handy. Tip number 2, a calendar, if used properly, can be a very powerful tool. And as an intern, I can guarantee you that you'll forget things. You'll forget when you are supposed to present your morning report, you'd forget when they have assigned you Harrison's Club, and you'd forget a lot of other things. So whenever an email arrives and it tells you that, hey, you are supposed to present so and so, present this case or do that in this date, that should go to your calendar right away. That's the best way to make sure that you remember it. Also, make sure to put a reminder to that event a day or two in advance. That way, you'd have some time to prepare for it before. Because the last thing you want is for you to realize that you have a presentation tomorrow morning and then panic throughout the night just to screw up the presentation tomorrow. Tip number 3 is take charge of your finance. If you are like me and IMZ, who basically came out of medical school, chances are that you have not dealt with a lot of financial matters in your life, meaning you have always had help either from your parents, your guardians, or who have you. You really don't know how to deal with money. What I wish I had known before I started my residency, something about investing, something about saving, and something about spending money. All of us have different values. So that would mean that financially, the amount of money in my savings account that makes me comfortable might not be the amount that would make you comfortable. Know these terms, know what investing is, know what is the general advice in terms of how much you should invest or how much you should save. So read some financial books, go through some financial YouTube channels and learn about investing, learn about saving. What you do in your intern year and your residency year, they say, is sort of the reflection of how you are going to deal with your finances throughout your life. So why not start right? Tip number 3 is that you will have imposter syndrome. Deal with it. Now, this might not sound like a very enthusiastic advice, but believe me, I so wish that somebody had told me this before I started my residency. During your intern year, especially during the first half of your intern year, you'd feel like you sort of like ended up here by the virtue of your luck and some mistake on someone's part, because you clearly do not belong here. You'd feel like everyone else has figured it out, everyone else knows what they are doing, and I am sort of like fumbling in my mind. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I don't know how I'm supposed to do things, I'm just like faking it. This is called imposter syndrome and all of us go through it. It's a very normal, natural phenomenon. Talk about it with your friends, be it the new friends that you have made in your residency or your friends from your med school or whoever you are comfortable talking with. Talk about it and you'd soon realize that they feel the same and then everyone has already felt the same. Actually, if you reflect back and then think about the early days in your medical school, I'm sure you would remember that very same feelings actually arose there also. Tip number 4 is learn to cook. That is the number one thing you can do to help your health. I know you are a doctor, I know you already understand this, but then it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of buying food and eating food from outside and thinking that you'd use your time productively otherwise. But believe me, it's coming from someone who has tried and tested this. Once you start buying outside and eating food from outside, a lot of things would change. You'd not have enough energy to do anything productive. Your waistline will increase and you would not feel very energetic throughout the day. The best thing that you can do is cook yourself, and it's not very difficult. There are a lot of tutorials in YouTube. Just pick one and then try and cook. And hey, you cracked USMLE, you can crack cooking, okay? The most important tip number 5 is don't think of yourself as a trainee or a transition between a student and a doctor. Think of yourself as a professional who is building his career. What I mean by that is you are someone that's relied upon by the hospital to take care of a patient. That is a big responsibility, but that is also a very big opportunity. Whatever you learn during your intern year tends to stick way better than what you learned during your exam preparation. That's probably because you'd be dealing with a live patient and you'd have a lot of responsibility, and that would stimulate your mind and make you very aware of what you are doing, what decisions are being made, what medications are being prescribed, what tests are being prescribed, is the patient improving, is the patient not improving, and all of this experience will turn you into a very, very well curated professional. But act like one starting today. Portray yourself as a professional to your attendings, and they will give you more responsibilities. They would feel more comfortable relying on you. And that's the best thing that can happen to you as a resident. That way you'd get more opportunities, that way you'd get more credibility, and that way you'd grow the most. So those are the 5 tips that I have for you today. Let me know in the comments below which tip you resonated with the most. And if there are any other tips or questions for that matter that you want to ask me, then please leave a comment below. See you in the next one. Goodbye. Thank you.